This is a full story. Kitten wishes you all a happy and enjoyable story. In my second year of college, a wealthy woman offered me $1 million to tutor her daughter. The girl was a wild rebel, and I pretended to be ill to trick her into studying. On the eve of the college entrance exams, I caught her partying at a club. Within 4 drip hanging from me, I threw her the tutoring fee and said, "You're hopeless, not even $50 million would make me your teacher again." 5 years later, she cornered me against a wall and scolded me. Hailey was in tears. "Rockey, are you in the late stages of cancer? Here's $1 million, are you going to lie to me again?" My good teacher. 5 years later, I returned to the Magic City. In order to save money for surgery, I returned to my old profession as a tutor. A good brother recommended a new student to me, a high school girl in a wheelchair, with an introverted and melancholic personality. Each class cost $700, and that price made my heart race. I raised my hand, but before I could press the doorbell, the door slowly opened. I looked up to see 2 360-degree cameras aimed at me from the wall. Is this a wealthy person's quirky habit? Playing with mystery. Once inside, an aunt guided me forward. We stopped in front of a door, and she signaled that the person was inside. The girl was lying on the bed, wrapped in a blanket, seemingly asleep. I have encountered girls who were reluctant to study before. Over the years of tutoring, I have managed to win over the most difficult ones, let alone this melancholic little girl. I walked over to the desk and arranged the textbooks and materials. In 5 minutes, class will officially start. Whether you choose to study or not is entirely up to you. The path is yours to choose. Just hope that 10 years from now, you won't regret the road you picked. The blanket seemed to shift. Seeing her response, I got up and walked over to help her. Is her leg inconvenient? Does she need me to lift her up? She gave a soft but just as my hand touched her waist, I immediately sensed something was off. Her skin was smooth and elastic, too mature for a little girl. The blanket was lifted, revealing a delicate young girl's face. Wide eyes, elegant brows, and a refined nose. She squinted slightly, her voice laced with sleepiness and playfulness. "Mr. Rockey, you arrived half an hour early." Hailey. When I saw her face, I felt like I had been struck by lightning. My heart skipped a beat. Instinctively, I took a half step back. Then I backed up to the table, trying to make myself look less tense. The girl in front of me is 2 years younger. 5 years ago, she was my tutoring student. That year, I was in my second year of college, and she had just turned 18 as a senior in high school. Still an unfinished high school girl, but this little delinquent had a wilder personality than most people. She sat up suddenly, threw off the covers, and got out of bed. I quickly turned my back, startled. Has Rockey become such a coward now? A sound of fabric rubbing against itself came from behind. Hailey laughed. It's not like I haven't seen before. I felt a sweat break out on my forehead. What on earth was she talking about? I looked back at her in confusion, almost blinded by her appearance. Hailey was wearing a small camisole on top, and below a pair of black shorts. She walked around the room barefoot. She seemed quite confident about her figure. No wonder she was self-assured. Her legs were long and fair. Her waist was slim with a noticeable hourglass figure. Extremely alluring. I reminded her, "It has already been 5 minutes. Are you going to take your tutoring session? If you're not going to have a tutoring session, then I'll be leaving. 10 minutes still counts as an hour charge." Hailey leisurely pulled a light veil from the wardrobe. She draped it on, intentionally exposing her shoulders and collarbones. Walking slowly towards me, she looked up. Her fingertip glided softly over my collarbone. "Why the hurry, Mr. Rockey? A teacher shouldn't be so impatient, right?" My gaze inevitably lingered on her fingers. They were pale and long, soft and smooth like jade. Hailey's hands were truly beautiful, just as they were 5 years ago. The first time we met was at her former home. It was a summer day. Her villa was nestled halfway up a hill, and after the bus dropped me off, I walked quite a long way to reach her place. Upon entering her room, the central air conditioning was blasting, and I sneezed. Immediately, I heard a lazy taunt from a rebellious girl. "Since the teacher has a cold, we might as well skip today, right?" I turned to look and found Hailey sitting in a rocking chair, swinging her legs with a distracted expression on her face. Hailey finally agreed to sit down. Under her mother's coaxing and threats, her mother promised her that if she made enough progress on this exam to pass, she would reward her with a pink Lamborghini. While I was explaining the problems, the little girl was too busy playing on her phone to pay attention. I said, "Don't you want to pass? How can you pass if you don't listen?" She swung her legs, not even bothering to look up, saying, "You do your thing, I'll do mine. Mind your own business." I laughed, frustrated with her response. I slammed my hand on the table, which startled her into silence. Hailey frowned, her gaze icy as she looked at me. "You're the first person to slam a table in front of me. Are you looking for trouble?" I replied, "Yeah." "You don't need to remind me that there isn't much time left." The girl reacted a moment later. "My mom said you have a problem. Is it incurable?" God forgive me, I clearly told her mother that it was hard to treat. I responded ambiguously, "So I hope you can show a bit of humanity and cooperate with me. At least during my class time, listen attentively." It probably touched the softer side of her as a girl. Teenage girls may rebel and resist discipline, but deep down they are still innocent and kind-hearted. And for the sake of making money, I intended to take advantage of that kindness to help her catch up. After all, it was my goal to earn the benefits promised by the parents if she got into college. From that moment on, Hailey seemed like a different person. Her temper softened and she began to listen more. She was already smart and her first exam after tutoring scored high marks. This was beyond my expectations. On the day she got her results, she called me several times. I was quite busy that day and replied to her video call later in the evening. It seemed like she was having a party at home with her friends. Hailey found a quiet place to talk to me, pouting cutely annoyed that I hadn't answered my phone. I asked, "What score did you get?" Hailey replied, 579. I praised her, "Not bad, keep it up." Going from over 200 points to such a significant improvement was indeed impressive. However, Hailey asked me unhappily, "Is that all?" I couldn't help but laugh. "What do you expect?" Hailey hesitated for a moment. "My birthday is next week. You should come to celebrate." I just smiled, not giving her a direct answer. On Hailey's birthday, I couldn't make it. Just as I was about to leave, Grandpa suddenly had a fit throwing things around the house. I called the neighbor to help me pin him down on the bed, tying his hands with restraints, afraid he might hurt himself. The neighbor pointed to my forehead. "Rocky, you're bleeding, go take care of it." Grandpa had just thrown a cup and I hadn't managed to dodge it. I grabbed some tissues to wipe my forehead, shaking my head to indicate it was fine. My phone rang. I picked it up. It was Mary calling. Mary is one of Hailey's good friends. After Hailey's grades improved, her mother recommended me to Mary's mom. "Rocky, I'm downstairs at your home." I was a little surprised and leaned out from the balcony to look. "How did you find my house?" Mary was in her school uniform, probably just back from school. Her family's driver was waiting in the car nearby. Mary waved at me. "I saw you come in here last time after school. Rocky, Hailey's birthday party is about to start. Let's go together." I went downstairs with the gift and handed it to Mary. "I can't make it. I have something to do. Please wish her a happy birthday for me." After returning upstairs, Grandpa had already regained consciousness. He opened his mouth, his mood a bit low. "Rocky, you can go now. Don't worry about me." I walked over and helped him untie the restraints. Gently rubbing Grandpa's wrist, I asked, "Does it hurt?" Grandpa reached out, trembling as he touched the band-aid on my forehead. He didn't say anything, but his eyes were filled with guilt. I shook my head. "It doesn't hurt." I was busy until 1 in the morning when I finally took a moment to check my phone. There were dozens of missed calls from Hailey and a few messages. "Mr. Rocky, you promised you would come." "Rocky, do you think it's appropriate for my best friend to bring a gift to you? When did you get so close to Mary?" "Rocky, is it too much to ask you to answer a call?" "Fine, you don't have to come tomorrow." I lay in bed feeling a bit headachy. The little princess was angry. It seemed like it would be difficult to placate her. Tossing and turning, unable to fall asleep, I still decided to send her a message. "Happy birthday, Hailey." The next day, I was fired by the little princess. To be honest, Hailey's family offers the highest pay among all the tutoring families. Hailey's mom even said that if Hailey could pass the second-tier university line, she would give me $1 million as a bonus. $1 million is more precious to me now than a timely help in the snow. So at that moment, no matter what, I had to teach Hailey well and help her get into a good university. I asked Hailey how I could make her forgive me. Hailey threw a bag at my feet. "Tomorrow, wear this outfit to my house and we'll have a party again. Then I'll forgive you." I replied, "Can't you have some sympathy for the sick?" Hailey said, "No." She turned her face to the side, frowning. "I can't see where you're sick. You must be tricking me." I didn't explain. The next day, I went to her house, wearing the black suit that Hailey had bought for me. "Mr. Rocky," a little boy from the senior class wearing a bow tie teased me. "The heating is really good in here. You can take off your coat." The little boy's eyes were filled with hostility, and the first time I met him at Hailey's house, I felt an inexplicable dislike from him. I smiled and refused to engage. But then a group of boys gathered around. Teasingly, they started to pull off my jacket, even tearing at my shirt. The air froze instantly. The red patches on my arms were exposed to everyone. Wow, what on earth is that on him? It's terrifying. Is it a skin disease? In that moment, I felt a sense of embarrassment that I hadn't experienced in a long time. It was then that Hailey stepped in front of me. Her small voice held a hint of anger. "Close your eyes and get lost." It was Hailey. She walked up to me, helping me put on my suit jacket, buttoning my shirt. Her eyes were slightly red. The girl's eyelashes drooped, not meeting my gaze. She simply pressed her lips together, buttoning one by one. I smiled and said, "I'm not lying to you, am I? Can you not kick me out?" Hailey replied with a hum. She looked like she could cry from guilt. She pulled me into the room. For the next 2 hours, Hailey completed a total of 4 sets of papers. While I was grading, Hailey curled up in the hanging chair. Suddenly, she looked up at me and asked, "Are you working so hard because you need to get treatment?" "Maybe." I nodded, since the family also needed money, so I had to work hard to earn it. Hailey buried her head in her knees, giving a faint hum. After about 10 minutes, she looked up at me, finally asking that question, "Can your illness be cured?" I shook my head. I capped my pen and glanced at her. Hailey's eyes were beautiful, large and glistening, with a touch of romance and innocence. I didn't answer answer, so you need to study hard. Don't let the teachers down. As I was leaving, I took a charm off and handed it to her. In the year of the college entrance exam, my grandfather sought this at the temple. Hailey, may everything go as you wish, and may all your troubles be gone. Half a month later, due to my grandfather's worsening condition, I hadn't visited the H family for lessons in a long time. I asked a friend to help tutor her. On Double Ninth Festival, I rushed home after finishing at school. The door of my house had been smashed open. My grandfather had run out by himself. A week later, the police found his body in the mountains, having taken his own life by hanging. The note he left had only a few trembling lines. Grandpa is gone. Rocky, you must take good care of yourself from now on. Grandpa just missed Grandma too much. I've saved some money for you. Behind the sofa, Rocky has grown up. He can use it to marry a wife in the future. Grandpa had Alzheimer's, and this wasn't the first time he had attempted to take his life. When I was young, he raised me, but later he turned into a child, refusing to let me take care of him. During that time, Hailey kept messaging me. Rocky, what are you doing? You left me halfway through lessons. I was angry. Rocky, please come back to class. Rocky, I can't focus on class with your friend teaching. Please come back. I'll ask my mom to pay you more. I locked myself in my room during that time, not going anywhere. I didn't have the mood to reply to her messages. After my grandfather was cremated, I gave up my rental near the school. My classmates sympathized with my situation, doing their best to help with the funeral arrangements. Class monitor Peter helped me move my things back to the dorm. She held the urn for me. My grandfather's urn was so small and light. He had always been thin, and after falling ill, he hardly ate. When it was handed to me, tears streamed down my face like a burst dam. Peter freed one hand to hug me, gently patting my shoulder. After we separated, I seemed to see a black Bentley parked not far from the dormitory. The rear window rolled down slightly. A girl with long hair leaned inside, her eyes fixed on me. It was Hailey. Before I could react, the window rolled up, cutting off the line of sight between us. The car started up again, speeding away from the school. I didn't understand what had happened. I hadn't done anything wrong, yet I felt a strange sense of unease. The phone vibrated. It was a call from Hailey's mom. Rocky, how is your condition? It's like this Hailey has been making incredible progress in her studies. I'm really grateful to you. Hailey has mentioned many times, hoping to find a cure for your illness. I know a very skilled doctor. No need, Auntie. I interrupted her. My illness can't be cured. But just before Hailey's college entrance exam, I received another call from Hailey's mom. Rocky, I'm sorry, but Hailey has been particularly erratic lately. I'm nearly at my wit's end. Can you help me talk to her? At 1 a.m, I found Hailey at the trendiest bar in the city. She was with a group of close friends, and there were plenty of boys around. I picked up a glass of water and walked over, splashing it on her face. Afterward, her eyes seemed to awaken a little. The boy sitting next to her immediately blocked her path. Are you crazy? I reached out to grab her hand. Come back with me. She shrugged me off. Hailey said, who do you think you are to tell me what to do? I held back my anger. Hailey, you're going to take the college entrance exam. Do you think it's fun for a girl to hang out in a place like this? I tossed last month's tutoring fee at her. You have a background that everyone in this world envies, and family and friends who love you. You've been dealt the best cards, but you insist on playing them terribly. Hailey, you'll always be a mess. If you gave me $1 million, I wouldn't teach you again. Hailey bit her lip and looked up, meeting my eyes. Why are you saying all this to me? I chuckled, because I have a problem. My problem is quite serious. I was diagnosed with lupus in middle school, and later developed multiple complications, myocarditis nephritis. There's a significant chance it could progress to acute renal failure in the later stages, be it dialysis or a kidney transplant. I will need a lot of money. I want to survive. I urgently need Hailey's mother's $1 million to stay alive. If you're willing to give up on your life like this, then all I can say is, I misjudged you. I turned to leave. In the corridor, Hailey grabbed my hand from behind, her youthful voice tinged with desperation. Rocky, I'll go back with you. At the entrance of the nightclub, a delicate girl looked up at me, her eyes sparkling with a hint of pink, like something out of a comic, making my heart race. I'll study hard for my exams. You focus on your recovery. Let's not give up, okay? She nervously twisted her fingers in front of her. Finally, she said, Rocky, I like you. Wait for me to get into college, and let me be your girlfriend. It was the first time a girl had confessed to me, and I felt my cheeks flush. She gazed at me and asked, why is your face so red? The red parts look like an eagle. I didn't answer, but I smiled and patted her shoulder. Your driver is waiting outside. Go on. Starting tomorrow, I'll continue tutoring you until your exams are over. The girl's skirt danced as she took 3 steps back, turning her head to look at me. Remember to send me your medical records. I'll find someone to help you, I promise. I stood there smiling at her. Just as she was about to get in the car, she suddenly ran back, tiptoed, put her hands on my waist, and planted a quick kiss on my cheek, then hurried back to the car blushing. I felt like my face was as red as a monkey's butt, even though I knew the redness was due to a lupus lupus flare-up. It was the first time I felt such a flutter in my heart. The girl's dreamy and fervent affection made me feel a little hesitant, but I couldn't deny its warmth. On the day Hailey's high scores were released, she called me. "I've applied to your school. My school is one of the best in the country," but she scored so well that she could have easily studied abroad on her own. Her words held a unique blend of pride that only girls possess. "Rocky, I had my aunt return to our country. She is a famous oncologist overseas. Many late-stage patients have been saved by her, so you'll definitely be fine." She chattered on about many things, and noticing my prolonged silence, she grew somewhat displeased. "Rocky, didn't you promise to be my boyfriend? You're not thinking of going back on that, are you?" I stood in the airport lobby, tears streaming down my face without restraint. Hailey continued murmuring, "Did you receive the necklace? That was given to me by my grandmother. Even though it's silver, she treasures it dearly. In our family, there's a custom that when a girl meets the man she loves, she has to give it to him as a token of affection." I touched the necklace around my neck, pulling it closer and kissing it gently. "Hailey, I want to sleep for a while. I'm so tired." Her words paused. Suddenly, her voice turned very soft. "Okay, good night." "Goodbye, Hailey." At that moment, I was crouched in the airport lobby, crying my heart out, struggling to breathe. I took a break from school and went in Ink City. I found online that there was a hospital there, which had excellent treatment for lupus. I didn't want to wait for death. The process of helplessly struggling to change the outcome was too painful. I still wanted to give it a try, but I also didn't want to raise Hailey's hopes. There were too many barriers and gaps between us. Besides my illness, I wanted her to give up to forget this insignificant person. So I mailed her a farewell letter. 5 years later, I haven't cured my illness, and my kidney disease has nearly drained the $1 million that Hailey's mother gave me. Fortunately, I had the luck to meet an old Chinese medicine doctor who was able to ease my condition. 5 years have passed, and I have never forgotten that girl who confessed to me first. In the end, I gathered my courage and returned to the bustling city. But after going back, I never thought about seeing her again. Until today, I encountered her again in this little girl's home. Hailey, compared to the shy girl from 5 years ago, seemed like a completely different person. As the youthful aura faded from her, she now possessed an alluring charm of a mature woman. I swallowed hard, pretending to be nonchalant. "I'm here to tutor the girl of this family." Her pink nails pointed at my chest. "You mean Serena? She's in a bad mood and doesn't want to attend class." I hurriedly took a few steps back, collecting my things and preparing to leave, keeping my head down and not daring to look at her. "I'll come back when she's in a better mood." As I turned around, Hailey blocked the doorway. She mindlessly played with her nails. Then suddenly she lifted her head to meet my gaze, her red lips curling into a slight smile. "Rocky, why are you so timid now? I remember 5 years ago you were the one who slammed the table in front of me." I felt inexplicably nervous. I was young and immature back then. She covered her mouth, laughing softly. "Immature." She twisted her waist, getting even closer, her pale hand pressing against my chest, pushing me against the wall. Her left hand raised, resting by my ear, completely blocking my escape. Then she pulled out a piece of paper from somewhere and threw it at my feet. The initial teasing and flirtation were torn away, replaced by a sense of grievance. "Rocky, there's no one as cruel as you in this world." I looked down. It was the letter of resignation I had written to Hailey. I stared at the ground like a fool. Hailey's lips were pressed tighter and tighter. She fixed her gaze on me. "Rocky, do you think playing dead is funny?" Suddenly, she wrapped her arms around my waist, holding me tightly. Her head rested on my chest, and her tears soaked my white shirt. "Rocky, I've searched the entire school. I waited for you in your dorm for a month, and then I found the place where you used to live, but I could never find you." Hailey spoke with a choked voice. "I really thought you were dead. Rocky, do you deserve my trust?" My throat felt dry and painful as I struggled to speak. "I'm sorry, it's all my fault." Her lips were pressed straight, and suddenly she threw a card at me. "Still in the late stage of cancer. You told such a huge lie for $1 million. Here's $2 million if you want to keep lying to me." "Teacher." She deliberately emphasized the last two words, making it very intentional. But at this day, those words were particularly harsh. I ran. Taking advantage of the sudden sound of voices in the corridor, I dashed out. This version of Hailey, I didn't know how to face. I really wanted to reach out, hold her, and gently touch her face. I wanted to tell her that I had been fighting hard against my condition all these years. I wanted to explain that I didn't mean to deceive her. I was just afraid that if I didn't make it through this illness, it would be even harder for her to bear. But I couldn't say any of it, because I had been battling this illness for a whole decade, with no improvement, and it only seemed to worsen. It was like a ticking time bomb lurking inside me, waiting to drag me into hell at any moment. I couldn't be that selfish. Dragging Hailey down with me, as I ran into the hallway, I brushed past a girl who was happily skating on her board. We both widened our eyes, staring at each other. A little sister in a wheelchair, so melancholic and shy. Where? But I didn't dare linger. Clutching my bag, I dashed outside. I ignored the girl calling my name behind me. "Rocky, Rocky, hey, wait up." but right after I got home, my phone buzzed. It was a message from that girl. Rocky, I'm so sorry. Hailey is actually my cousin. My parents went abroad, and I'm staying at her place for the holidays, mooching food and drinks. My grades are really bad, and I genuinely want to catch up, so please don't take it the wrong way. I didn't mean to deceive you. I typed out a long message, but in the end I deleted it. I replied with just a few words. Sorry, something came up at home. I can't continue the lessons. A few minutes later, I suddenly received a voice call from her. I picked up planning to respond properly. On the other end, a lively voice came through. Rocky, where are you trying to run off to now? I sat in silence. She suddenly said meaningfully, I've heard that tutoring is illegal now. What exactly do you want to do? I said helplessly. There was a moment of quiet on her end. Then she slowly spoke. I want you to pay back everything you owe me from these 4 years. I replied, we really aren't suited for each other. She laughed. Rocky, what do you think I want? To date you. You think too highly of yourself. I'm not someone who can't live without you. She said, I just want you to experience what I felt back then. Rocky, you need to be punished. She teased me, didn't you take that card with you? Once I get bored, you can keep the 2 million. I was suddenly startled that card was in my pocket. I had run out so hurriedly that I forgot she had thrown it in there. I said, I'll bring the card to you tomorrow. I can also help your sister with tutoring. When you feel happy and have calmed down, I'll leave. Hailey was right. It was I who first stirred up emotional feelings. I used my illness to gain her sympathy. Later I left without telling her anything at all. I wasn't wrong, but she was innocent too. During these years of treatment, I did not give up on learning, even managing to balance my studies with my health. I still want to return to school and study hard. I always hold on to the hope that a miracle will happen in the future. Though the waiting process is filled with obstacles and pain, I believe one day I will be able to live like an ordinary person, no longer afraid and anxious all the time. I won't have to take so much medicine, nor experience frequent fevers or pain. I can read, work, love, get married, and have my own children just like anyone else. As long as I am alive, there is hope, even in the midst of extreme pain. When I was alone in a rented room, with my joints aching and high fevers recurring, the pain would cause me to curl up under the blanket, gritting my teeth and shedding tears. Even then, I never considered giving up. Yet when faced with Hailey, I became hesitant, not at all like myself. The next day, I woke up to the sound of a strange number ringing. When I answered, it was Hailey's voice. 10 minutes, get downstairs. It took me a few seconds to realize it was her calling. How do you know my address? She chuckled lightly. I know a lot more than that. I glanced at the time. No need for 10 minutes. 5 will be enough. I got downstairs in less than 5 minutes. I got in the car, and Hailey glanced at me. Did you eat breakfast? I shook my head. She tossed a paper bag at me. Hurry up and eat. It was breakfast, still warm. After I drop you off at home, you'll go upstairs and catch up on lessons. My sister is waiting for you. She started the car. I instinctively asked, aren't you coming? She laughed. Do you really think I want to watch you all the time? Rocky, 5 years, not everyone will wait for you forever. Teacher Rocky, I still don't quite understand how to solve this problem. Serena pointed to a question on the paper for me to see. I was lost in thought. It was her voice that snapped me back to reality. Serena grinned mischievously. Are you thinking about my sister? I was startled by her words. Serena giggled. I've seen you. I blinked in confusion. Huh? She noticed my blank expression and ran off to another room. After a while, she returned with a DV. It contained a lot of footage. I recognized the DV. She opened a file named Eagle. The first photo displayed was of me dozing off. I felt my face flush with embarrassment. It seemed to be from that time I rushed to Hailey's house for tutoring after finishing my part-time job. That day I was just too tired. My eyelids kept fighting against each other. Hailey was unusually quiet that day. So quiet while doing homework and tests. I don't know how, but I fell asleep. It was probably around that time the photo was taken. In the picture I was sleeping so soundly, with my mouth slightly open and a shiny drool at the corner. I saw her change the photo's name to Sleeping Pig. The second one was a video. I was on her balcony taking a phone call. She was filming everything with a DV. The camera shaking, eventually pointing at me. I was feeling a bit feverish that day. My cheeks flushed. I glared at her trying to cover the lens with my hand, but she held my hand and said, you look great, don't block it. In that moment we both froze. She murmured softly, your palm is so warm. In the lens my cheeks were rosy, with faint red marks appearing. Yet in her viewfinder, I didn't look bad at all. But later Hailey noticed I didn't like being photographed, so she stopped using that thing on me. Serena had a knowing smile saying, my sister treasures that DV. When she was in her second year still at school, a little kid came home playing with her DV. She drove back in less than 20 minutes, gave that little brat a good scolding, and threw him out of the room. Rocky, actually my sister. The doorbell rang. Andy went to open the door. A boy stood outside who looked familiar. When he saw me, he immediately recognized me. Rocky. Serena wrinkled her nose. Tony is so annoying, why is he here again? I remembered him too. He was the boy who used to chase after Hailey, probably had a crush on her. Tony's expression changed from shock to disgust. Aren't you supposed to be dead? Why are you back? I heard you swindled $1 million from Hailey's mom. How dare you show your face, you fraud? But Serena stood in front of me with her hands on her hips. Are you done? It wasn't your $1 million that was taken. Why are you saying so much? Forget $1 million. My sister sister would spend $2 million on her blah blah blah. You think you matter, he wouldn't even give you 100. Tony should have come to see Hailey. Hailey wasn't here. He was furious with Serena again, pointed at us, and slammed the door as he left. Serena snorted in annoyance, settling back down. I hate him. I don't understand why my sister wants to be friends with him. It's so annoying. We hadn't talked for long when the door was pushed open from the outside again. This time it was Hailey. She didn't seem to know where she had come from, her chest rising and falling, breath a bit unsteady. She stood in the doorway, staring at me for a long time. Serena asked, "Sis, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting at work today?" Hailey composed herself, pulling her gaze away from me. "Yeah, it's over. Did Tony come by?" I checked the time. The tutoring session had also ended. I gathered my things and headed for the door. She grabbed my arm, pulling me back. "Wait a minute." After confirming that Serena couldn't hear, Hailey asked me, "You two didn't do anything right?" I smiled and replied, "Not really." She made a sound of acknowledgement and said, "Stay away from him in the future." I didn't quite understand this statement. Was she concerned about Tony, or was she worried about me? Considering the way she currently looked at me with such hatred, it seemed unlikely she was concerned for my well-being. I nodded in response and started to walk outside, but she called out to me again, "Get in the car, I'll give you a ride." I declined, saying, "No thanks, I can take it." Hailey interrupted, "You won't be able to catch a ride out here. If you choose to walk, you'll probably have to walk at least 4 kilometers to find a bus station. And what if something happens to you here at night? I'd be held responsible. Just get in the car and I'll take you to the bus station." I know Hailey is stubborn. Once she decides on something, there's nothing she can't do. Just like that time when I joked with her, she said she wanted to apply to my school. I told her that although she had improved, her scores were still far off, but she didn't care at all. With a confident sparkle in her autumn-like eyes, she said, "Let's bet. I'll definitely get into your school." I asked, "What are we betting on?" She thought for a moment, her dimple showing as she smiled. "I haven't decided. If I get in, you have to grant me a wish." I laughed. "Deal." Sitting in her car, I noticed a black waist pillow in the passenger seat. I remembered that it hadn't been there when she dropped me off in the morning. Perhaps it was left by her boyfriend. Hailey often glances at her phone messages, smiling softly at the screen with warm eyes. She must be in love, I guess. She didn't stop at the bus stop, and I didn't notice either. I fell asleep again shortly after getting on the bus. When I woke up, I was already downstairs. I thanked her, and she briefly squeezed my hand, pulled me closer, and gave me something. Her expression a bit awkward. "Open it when you get home." It looked like a gift box. I couldn't take it. I couldn't let myself be tangled with her any longer. After catching up on this period of classes, I needed to completely distance myself from Hailey, to stay away from her world, and she should continue moving forward, meeting healthier and better guys. I didn't accept it, just shook my head, and returned the card to her. She was about to unbuckle her seatbelt and get out. "It's not worth much, you don't have a girlfriend." Rocky. Someone called my name. It was my college classmate, Peter. After I returned, I had seen her a few times while taking care of school matters, and she lived nearby too. I watched Peter walk towards me, and glanced at Hailey again. I said softly, "Actually, I have a girlfriend now." Hailey glanced at Peter, then suddenly lowered her gaze, smiling a bit unnaturally. Then she pressed the gas pedal and drove away from here. Peter and I sat for a while in the coffee shop downstairs. I barely heard what he was saying. My mind was elsewhere. That girl earlier, was it Hailey? Peter suddenly changed the topic. I looked up in surprise. "How do you know her?" "After you dropped out, she came looking for me. She seemed really sad and asked me to tell her where you were. I told her I didn't know that you had been sitting on the roadside for a long time." I sat there dazed, not realizing tears were spilling down my cheeks. After returning home, I kept thinking about Peter's words, "I'm getting married, come join the fun if you have time." Rocky, I actually feel that girl really likes you. She studied at our school for 4 years, and when I went for my master's, her college was really close, so I saw her often. This girl spends her days running, playing badminton, and working out, and she is usually surrounded by female friends. I've seen many boys confess to her on the sports field, but she always turned them down, even too lazy to glance at their letters. Honestly, I guess she only has you in her heart, which is why she can't move on. Why not consider trying to be with her? Why not consider being with her? Because my dialysis isn't working well, and the doctor has already suggested I undergo a kidney transplant. I might not even have time to wait for a donor. I splashed cold water on my face, trying to wake myself up. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. I thought it was the delivery of the daily necessities I ordered. As I opened the door, it was pushed open by someone outside. A petite figure walked in, without any warning. She came over and pushed me against the wall, standing on her tiptoes, her face tilted upward. I was still in shock. Then I felt a sharp pain on my lips. Right after that, there was a forceful and painful kiss, and my shoulder was gripped tightly. Hailey's kiss was clumsy yet intense, as if she wanted to release all the emotions and resentment built up over these 4 years. I didn't push her away, but the tears were almost impossible to hold back. In the midst of this chaotic breath, she raised her hand, unbuttoned my first button, but then suddenly stopped. Rocky. Hailey's throat rolled, her voice getting softer. If I didn't know what you were going through, I might have been fooled by you again. That girl Peter, right? She's about to get married. Her boyfriend is my friend's older brother. Her fingers, which had been gripping my shoulder, suddenly fell away. I know. You lie to me over and over again. It's just because you don't like me. Am I really that bad? You won't even say a kind word to me. I remained silent. I understand now. She took a step back. The smile on her face was tinged with sadness. Her shoulders slumped like a homeless kitten. Rocky, it's my fault. Starting tomorrow, you don't have to come anymore. I also won't bother you again. Rocky, I will never like you again. Rocky, I hate you. Rocky, I hate you. I had a long nightmare. In the dream, Hailey's face, which was adorned with the beautiful features illuminated by fragments of sunlight, suddenly turned cold. She said she never wanted to see me again. When I woke up from the dream, my pillow was almost soaked with tears. It was all stained with dry, pale tears. I suddenly realized that I had liked Hailey for a very long time. The girl's ardent love finally slipped from her lips. Yet I brushed past it once again. I stayed holed up at home for 2 days and 2 nights. On the third morning, the rain outside stopped. I opened the window and a small white butterfly fluttered in, settling on the windowsill. Suddenly I realized that even if my luck was bad and I wouldn't live long, I wanted to tell him in person that I liked him. When I reached Hailey's house, Serena rubbed her eyes and said, Rocky, why did it take you so long to get here? She pulled me inside saying, 2 days ago, after my sister dropped you off, she came back home and spent the whole day drinking. With a long face like stone, I guess that you must have given her the cold shoulder. I had rushed away when I left, breathing a bit fast, and I pressed my hand to my chest to calm my heartbeat, saying, I want to see her. Serena replied, wait, I'll go with you right now. I asked, go where? Serena's expression turned serious. She's meeting friends today, and tonight she's catching a flight abroad. My heart started racing even faster. The driver took me and Serena to the hotel. All the way my mind was in turmoil. Am I doing the right thing? She's about to leave. She has already made a new choice. Serena noticed the hesitation on my face. Rocky, are you scared? I don't know why you keep rejecting my sister, but I can assure you, if you don't tell her how you feel today, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Yeah, even if it means death. I want her to know I like her. The driver was great, and in less than half an hour we arrived at our destination. As soon as I got out of the car, Serena waved goodbye to me, leaving me here alone as she walked away with the car. I felt a bit uneasy. The moment I entered the venue, I felt like I had come to the wrong place. Everyone attending the banquet was dressed impeccably, while I was wearing a simple hoodie, sweatpants, and casual shoes. There were too many people. I pushed through the crowd to get inside. Just then I spotted Hailey, who was elegantly alongside Tony in a tailored suit. At the same time, they noticed me too. But this time, Hailey didn't glance at me like she usually did. Her gaze just brushed over me, as if I were nothing more than a stranger. She stepped out of the main area and into the hallway, and only then did I react and chase after her. But Tony was waiting there, blocking my path with a sarcastic tone. Rocky, are you crazy? Do you even know what kind of occasion this is? He pointed to a corner of the venue. Do you see that Hailey's mom is over there? Do I need to remind her that the guy who tricked her out of $1 million is here? Should I have her call the police to take you away? Rocky, I underestimated you. You just won't let go of the Age family, will you? I ignored his provocations. Hailey, I called out to her through a few people. She paused for a moment but didn't turn back. She continued to walk on. Hailey, I'm sorry. I didn't lie about being sick. I have lupus, the kind of disease popularly known as an incurable cancer. I got it in middle school. That year when I took a break from school, I went to another province for treatment, but I didn't know if I would ever get the chance to return. So I lied to you and said I died. I just hoped that even if I couldn't get better, you wouldn't be affected by me, this passerby in your life. So I thought it was better not to have any more connections with you. Tony crossed his arms and summoned a few bodyguards to push me away. I felt my heart racing faster and my breath becoming more rapid. Hailey, I just wanted to tell you, it's not that you're lacking, it's me who is inadequate. I'm more timid. I like you, but have never said it out loud. The pain in my chest became more pronounced. It felt heavy, suffocating. Even saying the last few words was a struggle. Hailey, I will still take good care of my health in the future. I hope you will also have a good life abroad. Be happy. As I was pushed, my vision darkened, and I fell to the ground defeated. Is my myocarditis acting up again? Breathing was becoming increasingly difficult. In my gasping breaths, I suddenly saw someone rushing towards me, pushing through the crowd. She knelt down, desperately wrapping me in her arms. Panic had replaced the calm and grace I had before. Get away. Call a doctor. Rocky, I heard what you said. I warn you, I remember every word. What nonsense about going abroad. Today is my mother's birthday party. I'm telling you, you have to live well and use the rest of your life to make it up to me. My vision darkened, and everything around me became increasingly blurred. Suddenly, Suddenly, I felt something warm drop onto my cheek. A pretty little girl with damp eyes trembled as she said, "I won't allow it. You just said you liked me. Rocky, I won't allow you to leave me. I didn't want to leave you either. Hailey, but I am so tired. I just want to sleep." Hailey held the boy tightly, lost in madness and confusion. Finally, she set him down, beginning CPR and emergency aid. She pressed down on his chest again and again, bending down time after time. The boy's cheeks were devoid of color, his lips as white as paper. Tony couldn't help but advise, Yin, let it go, he's beyond saving. But Hailey seemed not to hear, continuing her efforts. Tony reached out to stop her, but another hand intervened. It was Hailey's mom. "Tony," she said, her expression serious, her eyes slightly red. "This is my daughter's favorite boy, the one I once considered the best choice for a son-in-law. I never expected this child to suffer from such a disease. But I tell you, Tony, if anything truly happens to him today, the H family won't let this go." Tony stared blankly and said, "But she really has stopped breathing." Hailey's mom shook her head. "I know him. This kid wants to live more than you all can imagine." Her voice carried a hint of tears. "He won't just leave like this." The ambulance arrived. Emergency personnel took the boy from Hailey's arms. Hailey was drenched, standing up mechanically, her hands trembling. It wasn't until the medical staff finished checking the boy's vital signs that she saw Rocky being put on an oxygen mask. Only then did she completely relax, nearly collapsing. Hailey's mom stepped forward to steady her. "It's not time to fall down now. Rocky is still waiting for you to take care of him." Hailey hurriedly took a couple of steps, following the medical personnel onto the ambulance. Hailey's mother rubbed the corners of her eyes, wiping away her tears. "Thank goodness. They sent such a wonderful boy back to their family to be their son-in-law. It doesn't matter that his health isn't perfect. Lupus is just a Richmond's disease. Their family has more than enough money. It would be embarrassing if they couldn't even raise a boy." Hailey's mother got into the driver's car, to the hospital, waiting to pick up my son-in-law. She remembered 5 years ago. She went to a nursing home with a group of alumni from her school to do a welfare activity. There she met Rocky. The boy was taking care of an elderly man suffering from Alzheimer's. The old man kept forgetting the things he had been taught over and over again. Yet Rocky didn't give up, continuing to teach him patiently. Whether it was his method or his patience, the elderly man actually started to remember. An old man wet his pants, but he wasn't angry, showing more patience than the caretakers in the nursing home. After finishing her work for the day, she went to a nearby supermarket to take on a part-time job. Hailey's mother suddenly became interested in him. She followed him for several days, only to learn that Rocky volunteered to learn caregiving methods for his grandmother who suffered from Alzheimer's disease. One day, she saw a female student in the supermarket being wrongly accused of stealing by the store manager. The male manager demanded to search her, and none of the staff opposed. Only he stood up, protecting the girl and shielding her from harm. The manager threatened him, saying he would fire him and deduct his pay. But the boy had already taken out his phone, calm yet assertive, saying, "I've recorded everything. If you dare to touch me, you'll regret it." In that instant, her admiration for him almost reached its peak. Coincidentally, Rocky was also working part-time as a tutor. Hailey's mother was thrilled. It felt like a pie falling from the sky. The troublesome daughter at home needed a clear-headed and smart boy like him to set her straight. The more she looked at him, the more she liked him. If she could bring him home as a son-in-law, that would be the best scenario. But it all depended on whether her daughter had the ability to win him over. So on a sunny afternoon, Hailey's mother, dressed elegantly like a wealthy lady, walked gracefully into the tutoring center. That day, Rocky was sitting at the front desk helping to clean up the tables when he saw a stunningly beautiful lady walk in. He nearly blinked in disbelief at her brilliance. The lady smiled widely, resembling a sly wolf. "Hey there, young man. My daughter isn't very bright and struggles with her studies, but she's not bad looking. I'm hoping to find a tutor. Do you think you could take on the job?" Rocky was taken aback for a moment, then smiled. "Sure. Extra. Here comes the extra." From Hailey's perspective, in my senior year of high school, I met a boy. I had seen many handsome boys, but he was the fiercest of them all, with fair skin, clean features, and dressed simply. His gaze held a certain depth, yet he was my mother's tutoring teacher, only 2 years older than me. He would slam his hands on the table and glare at me as soon as we met. How intimidating. I don't know why, but sitting next to him, knowledge would sneak into my mind in a sly manner. Damn it, was I starting to think. He seemed so full of life, yet he was seriously ill and close to death. I wasn't sure if it was guilt or some other feeling, but I began to listen to him intently. Every time he spoke, it felt like a sudden splash of cold soda. On a scorching summer day, he had a hint of mint about him, but he seemed to get shy easily. A blush would always appear on his face, like butterfly scars or the wings of an eagle. I will always remember that sunny afternoon. He leaned on the balcony talking on the phone. I was recording a video with my DV. When I captured him on camera, he stretched out his hand to block the lens. Our hands accidentally touched. "What is this this feeling? So strange. Am I going crazy? Suddenly, I really wanted to kiss him. On my birthday, Rockey didn't come. Instead, my friends helped him pass the gift to me. When did they get so close? My friends even knew where she lived. I had no idea. Something twisted and exploded in my heart. I took the gift and left everyone behind. I walked to the balcony to call him. Why didn't you come to my birthday? I even had the chef prepare so many dishes he liked. No answer on the phone, no reply to the text. Fine. Playing hide and seek, huh? I'm not going to indulge this anymore. The next day he came. His complexion didn't look very good, and the dark circles under his eyes were quite obvious. As soon as he spoke, he asked how I would be willing to forgive him. I softened, to be honest. The moment he appeared at my door in the morning, I had already forgiven him, but he was truly too much yesterday. I had to punish him, so I decided to make him celebrate my birthday with me once again. But this time, it seemed I was the one at fault. I saw him standing in the hall, his clothes being maliciously torn by a few boys. His face instantly turned pale. He stood there, even with the red scars on his skin. It did not diminish his good looks. It felt more like a special mark. The corners of his lips still held a faint smile, but I could see he was very sad. I was so furious, wanting to drag those boys over and give them a beating. I yearned to rush over and hold him tightly. As the exams approached, Rockey slacked off again. He even asked a friend to cover for him in classes. I couldn't wait any longer. I had the driver take me to his school, but when I reached the dorm building, I saw other girls reaching out to hug him, and he didn't push them away. An indescribable emotion instantly ignited my reason, until I found myself in a nightclub, drinking shot after shot with friends. They advised me, even if you just turned 18, you shouldn't be this reckless. But with each drink, I became increasingly calm. The sharp pain in my heart during the day that tore up my sanity was jealousy. I had fallen for Rockey. When Rockey found me, he slammed his hand on the table again. What the hell? What could I do about him? He yelled at me too. Since I was a child, I had hardly ever heard harsh words. His scolding felt even a bit thrilling. I must be a real masochist. In the end, I promised him that I would study hard, stop messing around, and get into his school. No matter what illness he had, I was willing to be with him. But after I got into college, he disappeared. He even left me a suicide note. He vanished from my life like a bird, unnoticed, quietly flying away. I later learned that my mother had given him 1 to 2 million. She didn't share many details, just wore a look of deep regret. But I knew this person had become etched deep in my heart when I couldn't erase or forget. In the following 4 years, I often dreamed of him. I dreamed of his wrist, the thin skin under which the blue vein snaked, looking very fragile, but his character was as tenacious as wild grass, thriving against all odds. I am at school. I once met the girl who hugged him. Only then did I realize that the reason he often disappeared suddenly was because he had an elderly sick grandfather to take care of. The day I went to find him, his grandfather had just passed away. I was completely unaware of everything that had happened to him. I felt both guilty and sad. If only I hadn't had such a bad temper back then. If only I had been a little more understanding. Maybe I could have accompanied him through those final moments. He said his grandfather died of cancer. I still refused to believe it. I always imagined him alive somewhere in this world because I could feel it. He wouldn't just die so easily. He was such a positive and uplifting person. 5 years have passed. I took the talisman he gave me and traveled to all the most revered temples across the country. I learned to kneel before the Buddha, just like those foolish devotees in this world. I hoped for his survival, even in places where I couldn't see him. As long as he could live, I would give up anything. As long as he could be well, even a little better, not in so much pain, I would do anything for that. I don't know if my wish came true. A year after graduating from college, I went back to school to meet with my advisor. In the parking lot, I saw someone who looked strikingly like Rockey. I felt my blood rush from my feet to the very tips of my fingers. My heart, it seemed to come alive again, joyful yet also enraged. Did he deceive me? He deceived me. How could he be so cruel? To use death to trick me. I suddenly felt cowardly. Does he dislike me so much that he would do this? I dared not approach. I simply followed quietly, not far from him. I was afraid that if I approached recklessly, he would flee in fright. I managed to learn some things about him. He had returned to school after taking a break. He was still very short on money and continued to tutor students. Even though tutoring was prohibited now, I was both angry and sad. What on earth was he doing with that million? Why is he still so thin? His clothes hung loosely, even showing the outline of his bones. Because he was so skinny, my cousin had recently been looking for someone to tutor her. So I tried to find his roommate who shares the rental. I asked him to help bring Rockey over for the tutoring. He came, arriving half an hour early. I didn't expect him to walk straight into my room. As soon as he spoke, my eyes started to redden. Rockey, it's been so long. I really miss you. He saw me and still kept his distance. It's impossible not to feel sad. Does he really dislike me that much? All these years, have I been the one overthinking? He even lied again, saying he has a girlfriend. In the end, I couldn't help but kiss him, but at the same time, I let go. I really liked him. As long as he lives well, that's enough for me. It's okay if he deceives me, or even if he dislikes me. I watch him from afar, knowing that he is doing well. On my mother's birthday party, he came. Only then did I understand the reason he had been avoiding me all All these years, he wasn't lying. He was simply suffering from an incurable cancer. It turned out he had quietly endured so much pain and torment on his own, until I heard him say that he liked me too. A wave of immense joy washed over me, but it seemed he could no longer hold on. For 5 years, he appeared to have walked a long way to stand in front of me. He couldn't even see the road ahead, yet he still returned. When he fell down with his eyes closed, there were tears at the corners of his eyes. I knew he didn't want to die, he still wanted to live. I desperately gave him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and first aid. My hands felt like they were about to give out, yet I didn't feel tired. All I knew was that he couldn't die. The ambulance arrived. After the doctor checked him, he placed an oxygen mask on him. He survived. I had snatched him back from the hands of death. My mom urged me to hold on and quickly catch up. It was only then that I came to my senses and followed the ambulance. Rocky, it seems like I fell asleep for a long time. When I woke up, my hand was tightly held, even feeling a bit painful from the grip. Hailey, as soon as I spoke, my voice was hoarse, sounding like a broken gong, which startled me. Hailey was awake. She had dark circles under her eyes, as if she hadn't slept well for days and nights. Her long black hair was messy, looking like a scruffy little dog. She stared at me blankly, her lips trembling, eyes reddened. She spoke softly, "You're awake. Are you hungry? Is there anywhere that hurts? Does your chest still ache?" I opened my mouth, replying in a hoarse voice, "It doesn't hurt." She quickly got up, turning away to wipe her tears. "I'll go call the doctor." A month later, when it was almost time for discharge, the doctor brought good news. My health indicators were gradually returning to normal. Whether it was myocarditis or kidney function, they were miraculously getting better. Once you're home, just focus on resting. This illness needs you to avoid emotional fluctuations. Maintain a calm mindset and take your medications on time. Hailey's mom excitedly bounced in her little heels, then hurriedly rushed out again. "Mom, where are you going?" Hailey asked. "I'm going to fulfill my wish," her mom replied. "I spent several days praying at a temple in Thailand last week. Make sure you take good care of Rocky. When you get home, let him rest a lot. Feed him with your own hands. If he loses half a pound, I'll come back and have a word with you." After Hailey's mom left, the ward suddenly felt a bit too quiet. The rain had just fallen outside. Hailey walked over and opened the window. A rush of earthy scents mixed with fresh grass filled the air. She stood in the light. I looked up at her. Suddenly, I reached out my hand to her. Hailey immediately came over softly, asking, "What's wrong? Does it hurt somewhere?" I tilted my head back and kissed her near the lips. "Nothing, I just suddenly wanted to kiss you." Hailey's ears slowly turned red, yet she feigned seriousness and scolded me. "You're the patient. How can you initiate something like this?" I was taken aback for a moment. She leaned down, bending to kiss my lips. It was light like a feather, like a butterfly landing. The girl smiled openly. "This kind of thing, of course, I have to take the lead now." The sunlight was gentle. Our future together was once again in our own hands. As love endures, miracles will always appear. The end. If you like Kitten's story, please follow and like it. Updated every morning at 9 a.m.